The Celts were the architects of a forgotten empire that shaped the Western world. Their mysterious culture and warrior spirit left an indelible mark on European history. Let us embark on a journey to unravel the secrets of this ancient civilization and uncover the enduring legacy that still whispers through the ages. In the misty dawn of European history, where the Alps stretch towards the sky and the rivers flow like lifeblood through the continent, the seeds of Celtic culture were sown. It was a time of great transformation around 800 BCE, when the Bronze Age was yielding to the Iron Age and the old certainties were crumbling like the rusting armor of a bygone era. The Urnfield culture, which had dominated Central Europe for centuries, was giving way to a new wave of migrations and cultural exchanges. The Hallstatt culture, named after the archaeological site where its artifacts were first discovered, was a complex network of communities that thrived from around 800 to 450 BCE. These early Celts were masters of metalwork, weaving, and pottery, leaving behind a treasure trove of intricately crafted artifacts that whisper secrets of their daily lives. The Hallstatt people lived in small settlements, often perched on hilltops or nestled in valleys, with homes made of wood and thatch, surrounded by fields of wheat, barley, and emmer. They were skilled farmers, cultivating the rich soil and harnessing the power of the rivers to irrigate their crops. Their diet was rich and varied, featuring meats, dairy products, and a wide range of fruits and vegetables. The air was thick with the smell of wood smoke, baking bread, and roasting meats as the Celts gathered around the hearth to share stories and enjoy each other's company. As we delve deeper into the world of the Hallstatt Celts, we find evidence of a complex social hierarchy, with chieftains and nobles wielding significant power and influence. These early Celtic leaders were often buried in elaborate tombs, filled with treasures and provisions for the afterlife, reflecting their status and prestige in the community. The most famous of these tombs is the Hochdorf chieftain's grave, discovered in modern-day Germany, which yielded a stunning array of artifacts, including a golden hat, a bronze cauldron, and a beautifully crafted iron sword. The Hallstatt culture was also marked by a deep connection to the natural world, with a pantheon of gods and goddesses associated with the earth, sky, and water. The Celts believed in an intricate web of life, where every action had consequences and every decision was influenced by the spirits that inhabited the land. This profound respect for nature is reflected in their art and literature, which often feature motifs of animals, plants, and elemental forces. As the Hallstatt culture flourished, it began to expand its reach, influencing neighboring communities and laying the groundwork for the Celtic migrations that would soon reshape the European landscape. The Celts were a dynamic and restless people, driven by a desire for exploration, trade, and conquest. They were skilled warriors, using their iron swords and chariots to devastating effect on the battlefield. Their military prowess, combined with their cultural achievements, would soon propel them onto the world stage, where they would leave an indelible mark on Western civilization. The Hallstatt period was a time of great creativity and innovation as the Celts developed new technologies, artistic styles, and social structures. They were master craftsmen, able to shape metal, wood, and stone into beautiful and functional objects. Their artisans created intricate patterns and designs, which adorned everything from pottery to jewelry. The Celts were also skilled traders, exchanging goods and ideas with neighboring cultures and forging alliances that would last for centuries. As the Hallstatt period drew to a close, around 450 BCE, the Celtic world was on the cusp of a new era of transformation. The Latène culture, named after the archaeological site in Switzerland where its artifacts were first discovered, began to emerge as a distinct and vibrant expression of Celtic identity. This period, which spanned from approximately 450 BCE to 100 BCE, was marked by an explosion of artistic innovation, technological advancements, and cultural exchange. The Latène Celts were master metalworkers, and their artisans created intricate and beautiful objects that reflected their deep connection to the natural world. The iconic Waldalgesheim style, characterized by its use of curved lines, spirals, and plant motifs, became a hallmark of Latène art, adorning everything from jewelry to ceremonial vessels. The Celts' love of ornamentation and decoration was not limited to their metalwork. Their pottery, weaving, and wood carvings also showcased a profound appreciation for aesthetics and symbolism. One of the most significant developments during this period was the rise of urban centers and trade networks. The Latène Celts established thriving towns and cities, such as Bibracte in modern-day France and Manching in Germany, which became hubs of commerce, industry, and cultural exchange. These urban centers were often strategically located near major rivers, facilitating trade and communication with neighboring communities. The Celts' extensive network of roads, tracks, and waterways allowed for the rapid exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, fostering a sense of unity and shared identity across their vast territories. The Latène period also saw significant advancements in Celtic warfare as they adopted new tactics and technologies from their Mediterranean neighbors. The introduction of the sword, in particular, revolutionized Celtic combat, allowing for more efficient and deadly fighting techniques. The Celts' expertise in metalworking enabled them to craft high-quality swords, such as the iconic longsword, which became a staple of Celtic warfare. As the Latène culture flourished, the Celts continued to expand their reach, establishing colonies and trade relationships with neighboring cultures. The Greek historian Polybius wrote about the Celts' interactions with the Mediterranean world, noting their reputation as fierce warriors and skilled traders. The Celts' love of luxury goods, such as wine, olive oil, and fine ceramics, drove their trade with the Greeks and Romans, who were eager to exploit the Celtic market for their own economic gain. The Latène period was also marked by significant social and cultural changes, as the Celts began to develop more complex systems of governance and social hierarchy. The emergence of powerful chieftains and druidic classes reflected a growing sense of social stratification, with certain individuals wielding significant influence over the community. The Celts' deep connection to the natural world remained a core aspect of their identity, as they continued to worship a pantheon of gods and goddesses associated with the earth, sky, and water. As the Latène period continued to unfold, the Celts' complex systems of governance and social hierarchy became increasingly pronounced. The Druidic class, in particular, played a significant role in shaping Celtic society, with their expertise in ritual, law, and wisdom earning them a position of great influence. The Greek historian Strabo wrote about the Druids, noting their ability to preside over sacrifices, interpret omens, and provide counsel to the community. One notable example of a powerful Druidic leader is the enigmatic Vico, who is said to have played a key role in the Celtic victory over the Romans at the Battle of Adrianople in 279 BCE. The Latène Celts' deep connection to the natural world also continued to manifest in their art and symbolism. The iconic Vix crater, a magnificent bronze vessel discovered in modern-day France, is a testament to the Celts' mastery of metalworking and their love of ornamentation. Adorned with intricate patterns and mythological creatures, this stunning artifact reflects the Celts' profound appreciation for aesthetics and their desire to connect with the divine. Similarly, the Snettisham hoard, a collection of gold torques discovered in modern-day England, showcases the Celts' expertise in jewelry making and their fondness for luxurious adornments. As the Latène period drew to a close, around 100 BCE, the Celtic world was on the cusp of another significant transformation. The Roman Empire, under the leadership of Julius Caesar, began to expand its territories into Gaul, marking the beginning of a long and complex process of cultural exchange and conflict. The Celts, with their rich cultural heritage and fierce warrior tradition, would prove to be a formidable challenge for the Romans, as they resisted the invaders' attempts to impose their own language, customs, and values upon them. One notable example of Celtic resistance is the legendary chieftain Vercingetorix, who led a coalition of Gallic tribes against the Roman occupation. According to Caesar's commentary I de Bello Gallico, Vercingetorix was a charismatic leader who rallied his people with eloquent speeches and bold military tactics. The Battle of Alesia, fought in 52 BCE, was a pivotal moment in this conflict, as Vercingetorix's forces clashed with the Roman legions in a desperate bid for independence. Although ultimately defeated, Vercingetorix's bravery and cunning earned him a place in the annals of Celtic history, cementing his status as one of the most revered heroes of the ancient Celtic world. As the Romans continued to consolidate their power in Gaul, they encountered a diverse array of Celtic tribes, each with their own distinct culture and traditions. The Arverni, for example, were a powerful tribe that inhabited the region around modern-day Clermont-Ferrand, while the Sequani controlled the fertile valleys of the Saône and Rhône rivers. These tribes, along with others, would continue to shape the course of Celtic history as they navigated the complexities of Roman rule and struggled to maintain their unique cultural identities in the face of an increasingly dominant imperial power. The archaeological record provides a wealth of information about the daily lives of Celts during this period, from the layout of their settlements to the types of tools and artifacts they used. The Oppidum de Bibracte, a fortified Celtic town in modern-day France, is a remarkable example of urban planning and engineering with its sophisticated system of walls, gates, and defensive earthworks. Similarly, the Manching hoard, a collection of Celtic artifacts discovered in modern-day Germany, offers a fascinating glimpse into the material culture of the Celts, with its array of pottery, jewelry, and metalwork. As the Roman Empire continued to consolidate its power in Gaul, the Celtic tribes found themselves increasingly subject to Roman rule. The Romans imposed their own system of governance, taxation, and administration, which often conflicted with traditional Celtic practices. Despite this, many Celts adapted to the new circumstances, adopting Roman customs and languages while still maintaining their unique cultural identities. One notable example of a Celtic tribe that thrived under Roman rule is the Remi, who inhabited the region around modern-day Reims. The Remi were known for their skill in metalworking and trade, and their city became an important center of commerce in northern Gaul. Archaeological excavations have uncovered a wealth of artifacts from this period, including intricately crafted jewelry, pottery, and coins that reflect the Remi's cultural exchange with other Celtic tribes and Roman merchants. The Roman occupation also had a profound impact on Celtic art and architecture. Many Celtic temples and sanctuaries were destroyed or repurposed as Roman buildings, while new structures such as theaters, amphitheaters, and baths were constructed to serve the needs of the Roman population. The famous Gaulish temple at Entremont, for example, was abandoned during this period, while the Roman city of Narbonne became a major center of architectural innovation with its impressive basilica, forum, and aqueduct. As the centuries passed, the Celtic language and culture continued to evolve, influenced by the ongoing interaction with Roman and later Germanic populations. The Gaulish language, which had once been spoken across much of Gaul, gradually gave way to Latin, although it continued to be used in certain regions and contexts. Meanwhile, the Celtic tradition of oral storytelling and poetry remained vibrant, with many works being transmitted orally before eventually being written down in medieval manuscripts. The Roman historian Tacitus provides valuable insights into the social and cultural dynamics of Gaul during this period, describing the complex relationships between the Celtic tribes and their Roman rulers. According to Tacitus, the Celts were a proud and fiercely independent people who resented the imposition of Roman rule, yet many were also drawn to the benefits of Roman citizenship and the opportunities for trade and cultural exchange that it offered. One notable figure from this period is the Gaulish aristocrat Gaius Julius Civilis, who led a major rebellion against Roman rule in 69 to 70 CE. Civilis, who was himself a Roman citizen, rallied many of the Celtic tribes to his cause, arguing that they should be free to govern themselves and maintain their traditional way of life. Although the revolt ultimately failed, it highlights the ongoing tensions between the Celtic population and their Roman rulers, as well as the complex identities and loyalties that many Gauls navigated during this period. The archaeological record from this period is rich and varied, with many excavations uncovering evidence of Celtic-Roman interaction and cultural exchange. The site at Tintignac, for example, has yielded a remarkable collection of Celtic artifacts, including ironwork, pottery, and coins, which reflect the ongoing trade and cultural connections between the Celts and their Roman neighbors. Similarly, the excavation of the Roman city of Autun has uncovered a wealth of information about daily life in Gaul during this period, including the remains of houses, shops, and public buildings that provide a glimpse into the lives of ordinary Celts living under Roman rule. As the Roman Empire continued to exert its influence over Gaul, the Celtic culture and language gradually became more marginalized. By the 5th century CE, Latin had become the dominant language, and many of the traditional Celtic practices and customs were being suppressed. The The once thriving Celtic tribes were now largely assimilated into the Roman population, with many adopting Roman names, customs, and traditions. Despite this, there were still pockets of Celtic resistance and cultural preservation. In the western regions of Gaul, particularly in what is now Brittany, the Celtic language and culture continued to thrive. The Breton people, as they came to be known, maintained their distinct identity and traditions despite being surrounded by Romanized Gauls. One notable example of Celtic cultural preservation during this period is the work of the 5th century CE poet Sidonius Apollinaris. A Gallo-Roman aristocrat, Sidonius was born into a family of Celtic descent and was deeply influenced by Celtic culture and traditions. His poetry, which has survived to the present day, provides valuable insights into the social and cultural dynamics of Gaul during this period. As the Roman Empire began to decline in the 5th century CE, Gaul was increasingly vulnerable to external threats. The Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, invaded Gaul in the early 5th century CE and established their own kingdom with its capital at Toulouse. The Visigoths brought their own language and culture to Gaul, which further eroded the remaining Celtic influences. The Frankish king, Clovis I, who ruled from 481 to 511 CE, played a significant role in shaping the future of Gaul. A Germanic leader who had converted to Christianity, Clovis united many of the warring tribes and established a powerful kingdom that would eventually become the foundation of modern France. The Franks, as they came to be known, imposed their own language and culture on Gaul, which further marginalized the remaining Celtic influences. By the 6th century CE, the Celtic culture and language had largely disappeared from mainland Gaul. However, in the western regions, particularly in Brittany, the Celtic heritage continued to thrive. The Breton people maintained their distinct identity and traditions, including their language, music, and folklore. The monastic schools of Ireland and Scotland also played a significant role in preserving Celtic culture and learning during this period. These institutions, which were established by Celtic monks, became centers of learning and intellectual inquiry, where scholars studied and preserved ancient Celtic texts and traditions. One notable example of Celtic cultural preservation during this period is the work of the 6th century CE Irish monk, Columbanus. A renowned scholar and missionary, Columbanus traveled extensively throughout Europe, establishing monasteries and promoting Celtic Christianity. His writings, which have survived to the present day, provide valuable insights into the social and cultural dynamics of the Celtic world during this period. As the Middle Ages progressed, the Celtic culture and language continued to evolve, influenced by the ongoing interaction with other European cultures. The Norman conquest of England in 1066 CE, for example, brought French-speaking Normans into contact with the Anglo-Saxon population, which had its own distinct Celtic influences. The resulting cultural exchange had a profound impact on the development of English language and literature. In Brittany, the Celtic heritage continued to thrive, with the Breton people maintaining their distinct identity and traditions. The Duchy of Brittany, which was established in the 9th century CE, became a powerful and independent state that preserved its Celtic culture and language. The final phase of Celtic cultural evolution occurred in the modern period as nationalist movements emerged in Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. These movements, which sought to promote Celtic languages and cultures, had a profound impact on the development of modern Celtic identities. The establishment of Celtic language schools, cultural festivals, and literary societies helped to preserve and promote Celtic heritage, ensuring its continued relevance in the modern world. The legacy of the Celts can be seen in the many place names, surnames, and cultural traditions that continue to thrive in Europe today. The history of the Celts, which spans over 2 millennia, is a testament to the power of human creativity, resilience, and cultural expression. Their legacy is a testament to the power of human creativity, resilience, and cultural expression, reminding us that even the most fleeting moments in history can have a profound and lasting impact on our collective identity. Thank you for joining me throughout this historical journey. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.